Good morning, everybody in and around the courtroom. This is case IT 04848, the prosecutor versus Ramush Haradinaj, Idriz Balaj, and Lahi Brahimaj.
Thank you. May I have the appearances beginning with the prosecution?
Morning, Mr. President, and other judges of the appeals chamber. Peter Kramer appearing on behalf of the prosecution with Elena Martin Salgado, Marwan Dalal, and assisted by our case manager, Colin Nawrat.
And for the defense?
Mr. President, Your Honours, on behalf of Mr. Ramush Haradinaj, Rodney Dixon.
Thank you.
Good morning, Gregor Guy Smith, Colleen Rillen, Chad Mayer, and Genti Zaberi on behalf of Idriz Balaj.
Thank you. And I am to ask whether Mr. Haradinaj can follow the proceedings. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Yes.
Richard Harvey for Lahi Brahimaj, assisted by Ms. Rudina Yassini, and awaiting Mr. Paul Troop, whose flight was delayed on his way here. He expects to join us momentarily.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I ask Mr. Haradinaj whether he's able to follow the proceedings?
Yes, sir.
And Mr.
Oh, yes.
Can you follow the proceedings in a language that you understand? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thanks. Mr. Balaj is in custody in Kosovo and is to be transferred to the tribunal shortly. Today, the appeals chamber pronounces its judgment in the case of prosecutor versus Ramush Haradinaj, Idriz Balaj, and Lahi Brahimaj, which was rendered on the 19th of July, 2010. Following the practice of the tribunal, I will summarize the findings of the appeals chamber. The summary is not part of the written judgment. The written judgment is the only authoritative account of the appeals chamber's rulings and reasons therefore. And copies of the written judgment will be made available to the parties as soon as possible after the hearing. In the written judgment, when referring to the names of places in Kosovo, which differ between the Albanian and the Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian versions, both versions were used, separated by a slash. Solely for the convenience of today's summary, I will use only the Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian version. Ramush Haradinaj was born on the 3rd of July, 1968, in the municipality of Dekani in Kosovo, in the former Yugoslavia. The indictment alleges that from about the 1st of March until mid-June 1998, he served as a de facto commander in the Kosovo Liberation Army, the KLA, and that in mid-June 1998, he was appointed a commander with overall command of the KLA forces in the Dukagjin area. Idriz Balaj was born on the 23rd of August, 1971, in the municipality of Jakovica in Kosovo. It is alleged that he was a member of the KLA, serving as deputy commander of the Dukagjin Operative Staff from the 23rd of June to the 5th of July, 1998, and then as finance director of the KLA General Staff. The events giving rise to this case took place between the 1st of March and the 30th of September 1998 in Kosovo. The indictment alleges that the KLA persecuted and abducted civilians who were perceived to be collaborating with Serbian forces in the Dukagjin area. The prosecution charged Ramush Haradinaj, Idriz Balaj, and Lahi Brahimaj as participants in a joint criminal enterprise in relation to the commission of crimes against humanity and violations of the laws or customs of war. The common criminal purpose of the alleged joint criminal enterprise was to consolidate total KLA control over the Dukagjin area through the unlawful removal and mistreatment of these civilians. In the alternative, the prosecution alleged that the accused were individually criminally responsible under other modes of liability under Article 7.1 of the statute. In the trial judgment, the trial chamber found the evidence before it insufficient to establish the existence of a joint criminal enterprise and acquitted all three accused of any criminal liability through such an enterprise. The trial chamber further acquitted Mr. Haradinaj and Mr. Balaj of all alternative charges in the indictment. However, it found Mr. Brahimaj guilty of one count of torture and one count of torture and cruel treatment, all violations of the laws or customs of war. Mr. Brahimaj was found not guilty under all other counts. The trial chamber sentenced Mr. Brahimaj to a single sentence of 6 years of imprisonment. The prosecution and Mr. Brahimaj both filed appeals against the trial judgment. The hearing on the merits of these appeals was held on the 28th of October, 2009. I turn first to the appeal of the prosecution. In its first ground, the prosecution argued that the trial chamber erred when it refused the prosecution's requests for additional time to exhaust all reasonable steps to secure the testimony of two crucial witnesses and ordered the close of the prosecution case before such reasonable steps could be taken. The prosecution asserted that these witnesses possessed direct evidence relating to the guilt of the three accused who had refused to testify due to intimidation and fear. The prosecution therefore asked for a retrial on certain counts identified in its brief. The appeals chamber, by majority and with Judge Robinson dissenting, has decided to grant this ground of appeal and to order a partial retrial. Taken individually and outside the context of the trial, each of the trial chamber's decisions concerning the testimony of the relevant witnesses could be considered as falling within the scope of the trial chamber's discretion. But when these decisions are evaluated together, and particularly in the context of the serious witness intimidation, that form the context of the trial, it is clear that the trial chamber seriously erred in failing to take adequate measures to secure the testimony of certain witnesses. The trial chamber placed undue emphasis upon ensuring that the prosecution took no more than its pre-allotted time to present its case, and that the trial chamber's deadlines for presenting evidence were respected, irrespective of the possibility of securing potentially important testimony. This misplaced priority demonstrates that the trial chamber failed to appreciate the gravity of the threat that witness intimidation posed to the trial's integrity. Some of these failures were in response to specific requests by the prosecution, while in certain other cases, the trial chamber should have acted proprio motu to facilitate witness testimony. For the reasons set out in the judgment, the appeals chamber therefore has found that the trial chamber failed to take sufficient steps to counter the witness intimidation that permeated the trial. Given the potential importance of these witnesses to the prosecution's case, the error undermined the fairness of the proceedings and resulted in a miscarriage of justice. In the prosecution's second ground of appeal, it challenged the trial chamber's acquittal of Idriz Balaj for aiding and abetting the commission of the murders of 3 civilian women, arguing that the trial chamber erred when it held that the mens rea and actus reus requirements of aiding and abetting were not satisfied. The appeals chamber has identified no error on the part of the trial chamber in its application of the legal standards for aiding and abetting, and has therefore dismissed this ground of appeal. In its third ground, the prosecution challenged the trial chamber's findings regarding the rape, torture, and cruel treatment of witness 61 and the cruel treatment of witness 1. The prosecution first argued that the trial chamber erred when it found that Idriz Balaj was not guilty of the rape, cruel treatment, and torture of witness 61, arguing that it was patently unreasonable for the trial chamber to acquit Mr. Balaj once it had found that he was the man known as Togel. For the reasons given in the written judgment, the appeals chamber rejected the prosecution's argument and upheld the acquittal of Mr. Balaj on this count. Also in ground of appeal 3, the prosecution averred that the trial chamber committed an error in law when it failed to find that KLA soldiers throwing witness 1 into a well constituted cruel treatment, arguing that this constituted a serious attack upon witness 1's human dignity.